Hello my fellow gamers, welcome to another episode of Revisiting Old Games, where we play old games to see if they are still worth playing in our current generation of gaming. Gaming has evolved over the years, but some games will never get old no matter how old they are. In this episode we are taking a look at f.e.a.r Part 2. I reviewed f.e.a.r Part 1 some days ago and I want to take a look at f.e.a.r Part 2. Is this game one of those timeless classics, or is this one of those games we throw away because the time of this game has passed? Let's find out in today's video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. I'll talk about the game mechanics, story, gameplay, weapons, settings menu, and so on. So this is going to be a very long video. If you're watching on Instagram, I suggest you move over to YouTube. Instagram does not support videos of over 15 minutes long. The link to my YouTube channel is in my Instagram bio. So like I said earlier, some days ago, I made a video talking about f.e.a.r Part 1, and I absolutely love that game. I'm not really into horror games, but I played f.e.a.r Part 1 and I was in love with the game. Perfectly balanced between action and horror. Today we are taking a look at f.e.a.r Part 2. How good is this game? Should you play the game or should you spend your time playing something else? f.e.a.r Part 2 is a good game on its own, but compared to Part 1, I think it fell short, but the game is actually a good game. I like the game. Before we dive deep into the discussion, let us know a few things about this game. f.e.a.r was released in February 2009. The game was developed by Monolith Productions. It is available on Windows, Xbox 360 and PS3. I captured my gameplay on PC, so I am going to be talking about the PC version. I bought my own on Steam, but it is available on GOG Galaxy. I did not find the game on Epic Store. So let us look at the game reception. How was this game received when it was released? Was the game good? Was it bad? How was the ratings like when it was launched? So let us look at some of the websites that reviewed this game. IGN gave this game 8.3 out of 10. Metacritic, if we look at Metacritic, on the critic side this game got 79%. User score is 7.7 out of 10. GameSpot gave this game 7 out of 10. If we look at Steam, this game rating is very positive. Gaming Bolt gave this game 8 out of 10. I just observed something. The review or the rating of this game is not as high as Part 1. So we are kind of saying that, okay, maybe Part 2 is not really as good as Part 1, but does that mean Part 2 is a bad game? I don't really think so. I think there are a lot of things to like about this game, and there are some things that people might not like. So what about the PC requirements? This is the PC requirements according to Steam. I believe a lot of modern hardware can run this game without any problem. I tested this game on about 4 laptops. One of the laptops is running Core i3 8th Gen CPU with Intel UHD graphics, Intel integrated graphics. Ran very well, ran perfectly fine. I tested it on a Core i7 11th gen that is using Intel Xe graphics, ran perfectly. I tested it on an RTX 3050, ran very well. But the main hardware that I used for this review is a Core i7 10th gen CPU, NVIDIA RTX 2060 with 6GB of VRAM, 32GB of RAM and 4TB SSD. Now let's dive deep into the discussion. The first thing I noticed about f.e.a.r Part 2 is that this game feels easier than Part 1. This is probably the easiest game in the whole franchise. I played the game on normal difficulty and I had to check to make sure it is still on normal difficulty because it felt like I was playing this game on easy. When I played Part 1 was actually challenging. Part 1 was actually very challenging. It was challenging but fun, challenging but enjoyable. Even Part 3 was even harder than Part 2. But Part 2 just felt like this game was just too goddamn easy. So if you like challenging yourself or if you like the challenge while playing games, I would suggest you play this game on hard difficulty. Since this is a horror game, how scary is it? When I played Part 1 was actually very scary. Like, the game was scary. It was perfectly balanced between action and horror. But when I played Part 2 again after playing Part 1, I was like, nope, this is more of an action game than a horror game. There are some parts that I think were scary, but overall, this is more of an action game. I think they focused more on the action than the horror. Part 1 was very scary, but Part 2 was like one of those action games that just have a couple of jump scares. When I played Part 1, there was this tension I was feeling, especially when I played the game using headphones. God damn, that game was fucking scary. The jump scares, the hallucinations, like some parts of the game were very scary, but Part 2 was like, Some parts of the game that they were trying to make scary, as I was playing it, I was like, is this supposed to be scary? For instance, there was a cutscene in the game a surgery cutscene where they were operating on my character. One weird looking thing stabbed my character with scissors. I was like, is this part supposed to be scary? I was like, is this supposed to be scary? I don't know. Is this? It was not scary. It was not that scary to me. Maybe some people find it scary, but to me, I was like, it was not that scary. But I'm not going to lie. I won't lie. First time I played this game, there were about 3 places in this game that scared me. The first one, that elementary school. There was a part of that mission that everywhere suddenly went dark, and then I had to navigate my way through the darkness. Then those white looking ghostly things started to haunt me, and they were trying to attack me in the game. I had to be shooting them while I was navigating through that darkness. That part actually scared me the first time I played this game. Wow, that part was actually scary. Some people might not find it scary, but to me that part was actually scary. The way the lights were flickering, the only way I could see where I was going was when I shoot my gun, and then the flash of the gunshot was the only source of light I was having. That part was actually scary. Like, it was scary. I will give the game that one. Then the second part that actually scared me in the game. Same thing. Everywhere was dark. Those white looking ghostly things were attacking me again. Those white ghosts, they were attacking me. So I had to shoot my way through those ghosts. That part was actually scary. Like, I will give the game that one too. Then the third thing that scared me, I met it 3 times in the game. Now just take a look at this guy moving around with briefcase or suitcase. Is this briefcase or suitcase? Suitcase, whatever. When I got close to it and I started attacking it, the way it was moving around, raising dead bodies to attack me, like, just look at the way this thing is moving. Very weird, very creepy. This thing was very creepy. The second time I encountered something like this, it was playing the piano, it was playing keyboard, and then the way it was moving around and it was resurrecting dead bodies to fight me. That thing was very creepy. It was very creepy. The third one that I met, I think I was looking for a key card, and then I met this third one. Just look at the way this thing was moving. Very weird. So the first time I played this game, this thing actually scared me. Like, what the fuck is this thing? Let's talk a little bit about the story or the plot. You don't need to worry about spoilers because the story of this game is very weak. I think this is one of the weakest parts of the game. This is one of the negatives of this game. The story is actually very weak. The story was just meh. Now let's talk about the game mechanics. This is a good first-person shooter game. If you are willing to overlook the weak story or plot, this game has good game mechanics and good gameplay. Just like in f.e.a.r. Part 1, when you take damage, you don't auto-heal or auto-recover like you do in Call of Duty. You must use first aid kit or med kit. You can carry only 3 med kits in this game. In part 1, you can carry up to 10 med kits or first aid kits or first aid box or whatever it is. But part 2 allows maximum of only 3. Also, in part 1, you can permanently upgrade or increase your health bar. But in f.e.a.r. Part 2, you can no longer permanently increase or upgrade your health. You can only upgrade your reflex. You upgrade your reflex by picking up something called Reflex Injector. So what is this reflex that I'm talking about that you can upgrade? Reflex is the ability to slow down time. The Max Payne franchise calls it bullet time, but f.e.a.r. calls it reflex. They are all the same thing. Slow down time, shoot your enemies. In my opinion, this is one of the best features of this game. Slow down time, shoot your enemies, very satisfying to use. Using reflex never gets old for me. Just look at how cool it is to use the reflex. When you slow down time, look at how the bullet effect is. It was in part 1, still in part 2, and it is also in part 3. When you upgrade your reflex, it lasts longer. So make sure you explore a little, find the reflex injector, upgrade your reflex, and then you can slow down time longer and fuck your enemies up. Then there is one new feature that they added in f.e.a.r Part 2. That is the ability to pilot Mech. You can also pilot Mech in Part 3, and I will compare the two when I make my Part 3 video. But I enjoyed using Mech, and you can fire rockets, you can shoot machine guns and blah blah blah. So, is this game an RPG? Is there looting? Is this a looter shooter? Nope, this game is not a looter shooter. No open world, no RPG, no character upgrades, no character customization, no weapons upgrade and stuff like that. This is a straight to the point linear game. Just like I said earlier, the only thing you can upgrade in this game is your reflex. Nothing else. You don't change your costume, you don't upgrade your character, you don't do any character customization whatsoever. This game is just straight to the point linear action game. Then something else I noticed is that this game did not recognize my controller. There is no controller support. I use Xbox Series X controller. I also have Xbox One controller in my house. I tried it too. The game did not find it. The game did not recognize it. Maybe if somebody has Xbox 360 controller, it might work, but the ones I have, it did not work. Now, let's talk about the weapons in this game. What weapons do you get in this game? How many do you carry? Are they trash? Are they good? Whatever. In f.e.a.r Part 2, you can carry up to 4 weapons, but in f.e.a.r Part 1, you carry only 3. So f.e.a.r 2 gives you 1 additional weapon. So let's take a look at the weapons one by one. First, we have the pistol. The pistol in Part 2 is surprisingly very effective in close range combat. It does good damage, but I won't use this gun to fight some tough bad guys, but actually does good damage in close range combat. I wanted to challenge myself and play a whole mission using only pistol, but I ran out of ammo. I was expecting, since this is the pistol, finding ammo should be easier, or maybe the ammo should be unlimited, but I don't know. So finding ammo for the pistol is not as easy as I thought, but the gun is a good gun. Next, we have the SMG or submachine gun. This is a good weapon. This gun is good for close range combat. Finding ammo for this gun is easy. Very easy. Next, we have the assault rifle. This is the most balanced weapon in the game. You can toggle between semi-automatic or fully automatic fire, but I found myself using only the fully automatic fire. I feel like this gun is an improvement from f.e.a.r Part 1's assault rifle. This one feels way better. It feels more balanced. I don't know, it just feels better than the assault rifle in Part 1. Ammo for this gun is very easy to find, so you don't need to worry about running out of ammo when you are using the assault rifle. It was very rare for me to run out of ammo using the assault rifle. Next, we have the combat shotgun. This gun is perfect for close range combat. This one feels similar to the one in the first game. Feels similar to the one in Part 1. Like, the damage of this gun is insane. The reload speed is slow and it has like 8 rounds. But this gun can rip your enemies to shreds, just like in Part 1. Ammo is very easy to find. I love this gun. But the thing is, even though I said I love this gun, I did not use this gun as much as I was using the assault rifle. But this gun is actually a very powerful weapon. Next, we have the automatic shotgun. This gun is new. This gun was not in part 1. There was no automatic shotgun in part 1. This shotgun to me is not as powerful as the combat shotgun. It is not as strong as the combat shotgun. I think the advantage this one has over the combat shotgun is that this one has 12 rounds instead of 8, and it is very quick to reload. Even though it is not as powerful as the combat shotgun, this gun on its own, it is still very good and effective in close range combat. Next, we have the sniper rifle. I call this gun one shot, one kill. One of the strongest weapons in this game, especially for long range combat. You see this gun mostly when you want to fight other snipers, which means you run out of ammo eventually. Finding ammo for this gun is very hard. Anytime you see the sniper rifle, just know that you're about to fight snipers. But I was always moving around with the sniper rifle, and the funny thing is, I did not even use the gun as much as I thought I would. I was always going back to the assault rifle, but the sniper is a very powerful weapon. Now let's go to hammerhead or nail gun. This gun was in part 1, but I feel like they nerfed this gun in part 2. It does not feel as strong as the nail gun in part 1. Well, that's just my own opinion anyway. Maybe other people's opinion is different about this weapon, but even though I said it is not as powerful or as effective as the nail gun in part 1, in this part 2, it is actually a very strong weapon. But compared to part 1, I think part 1's nail gun is stronger. Finding ammo is kind of easy, surprisingly, for this weapon. Next, we have the missile launcher or rocket launcher. In part 1, we had multi-rocket launcher that fired 3 rockets, but it has been replaced with a missile launcher. You know, this one just fires only 1 rocket, or be 1 missile. And just like in part 1, when you see this weapon, just know that you're about to fight a mech. Be careful how you use this weapon because you can blow yourself up with it. Not advisable to use in close range combat. So this gun is for long range shooting or fighting mech. If you're in a corner and you shoot this weapon, you blow yourself up. Now let's move on to laser. Okay, in part 1, we had the particle weapon that melts your enemies. But in part 2, it seems like they replaced the particle weapon with the laser. This one shoots laser as stated in the name. I barely even used this weapon. It's freaking powerful. But I still found myself using the assault rifle. Next, we have the flamethrower or the napalm cannon. This gun shoots bursts of fire like fireball, like a fireball or something. I think this gun is more of a short range weapon than a long range weapon, but the damage of this gun is extremely high. This gun is good for taking down group of enemies. If they're in a group, shoot this weapon and you burn them to death. I wouldn't recommend using this gun to fight something like Mech, but be careful with this gun because this gun can hurt you. Since this gun shoots fire, fire does not discriminate, so the fire will burn you if you walk into the fire, so be careful when you use this gun. Ammo for this gun is very hard to find, very hard to find. Then the last weapon I want to talk about is the pulse or energy weapon. This weapon fires bursts of energy, and this weapon is very deadly. This weapon kills everything in its path, and I think this is also a short range weapon. Finding ammo for this gun is very hard, but this gun is a beast. I noticed something when I was playing this game. I was always hoarding good weapons. I will find good weapons and I won't use them. I'll be keeping them because I was waiting for one, crazy bad guy later on in the game. And in the end, after I played the game, I wound up not using the good weapon. So all these weapons I'm talking about, when you find them, use them. Use them. Feel free to use them. Don't hoard weapon. We gather a lot of good weapons and then we don't use them. At least the first time I played the game, that was what I was doing. But later on, my second, third, fourth gameplay, I started using these weapons. Well, at least this game has good weapon collection. I don't really think the weapons are trash, but tell me what you think in the comment section. Have you played the game before, and do you think the weapons were good or were they meh? But actually you enjoy using some of these weapons. Now let's talk about the game settings and the game menu. When you start the game for the first time, or when you launch the game, if you've played the game before, this is what you see. Start, continue from last saved point, options, awards, quit game. You see, it's showing continue from last saved points because I've played the game before, obviously. So let's go to options. We get sound settings, game settings, performance, key bindings. Let's go to sound settings. In sound, we get music volume, sound effects volume, blah blah, all that good stuff. Let's go back. Let's go to game settings. This is what you get in game settings. You see, I played the game on normal difficulty. But normal difficulty is similar to playing the game on easy. If you want the challenge, I suggest you go to hard. That's all. Hard is the highest. Play the game on hard if you want to challenge yourself. Normal is just too easy. So let's go back. Let's go to performance. Under performance, you have auto detect advanced settings. Let us enter advanced. You see that everything is on maximum. Let's go back. Okay, let me just scroll up. Pause the video if you want to read all the settings in detail. So let me just scroll down. Let's go back. Okay, we have resolution, apply resolution settings, brightness. Let us go back. Key bindings. You can change the keys. You can change the controls. This is not one of those games that you have to use the predestined controls of this game. You can change the keys, you can change the controls as you like. So let's go back. So that's basically it. We have awards, quit game. So that's just it. That's all for the settings menu. The settings menu is not looking so fancy and so flashy and stuff. Just very simple basic settings. Anyway, that was all for the settings menu. Let us continue the video. Is this game replayable? Can you replay the game from the beginning? Is there new game plus? Well, you can replay the game, but there is no new game plus. The only way you can replay this game is you replay missions you have already played before, not by using new game plus. When you replay missions, you overwrite your current saved progress. So keep that in mind. You don't have multiple save profiles. There is no different save profile in this game. Once you start, you start. You cannot have multiple save profile or multiple accounts playing the game or whatever. But will you want to replay the game? It depends. Obviously, if you like the game, you would want to replay it. But for some people, if they play this game once, they throw it away. I was actually replaying this game. I actually like the game. I played this game like 4 or 5 times before I made this video. And on the issue of playing the game, this game is very short. You can beat this game in one sitting. Took me like 4 to 6 hours to beat this game. I think it should be like 4 to 6 hours. But I know the game is very short. Very short. What about bugs? Did I notice any bugs? Well, in some places, there are invisible walls in front of doors or stairs. Sometimes if I open a door and I want to pass through that door, the game won't let me pass through the door. I have to struggle before I pass through the door. Or when I want to climb stairs, it's like there's an invisible wall in front of the stairs and then I have to wave my mouse around before the game allows me to pass. So I think that's just the major bug I found. I don't think I found any other bug. Maybe when I find other bugs, I will make another video to update this video. Now, let's talk about some random stuff I found in the game. First, there is this commander that I killed, Vanek. What is that his name? Is it Colonel Vanek? Killing him was not as satisfying as I wanted. I was expecting one big badass shootout, but instead, I only grabbed his gun and then we're struggling, and then I blew his head. I would have wanted something more energetic, something more tense. But the game was like, this is how you're going to kill Vanek. So something else I found in the game. There are some enemies that move like the leakers in Resident Evil. Now look at the way they move, the way they are crawling on the wall and they are moving like spiders. Now look at this Resident Evil gameplay. Look at the way the leakers are moving. Although these guys in f.e.a.r 2, they are moving faster than the leakers, but just look at their movement. Looks similar. It looks similar. So I don't know who copied who or whether they copied anybody. I'm just saying they look similar. In summary, what do I like about this game and what are my dislikes? I like the bullet time or reflex. I like using reflex in this game. It was cool using reflex in part 1 and it is also cool using reflex in part 2. The game is straight to the point. Straight to the point. It's not open world. There's no unnecessary exploration, no grinding, nothing. Straight to the point, and I like the game for that. Another thing I like about this game is that the graphics looks better than part 1. Even though I don't prioritize graphics when I play games, like I keep saying it in most of my videos, I don't prioritize graphics when I play game, but I must commend good graphics when I see it. So this game graphics is better than part 1. The environment looks better, it looks cleaner, it looks nicer. But according to today's standards, when you look at graphics like this, it is not still as good as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or something like that, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that is about to be released. It does not look like Cyberpunk, but compared to part 1, it is an improvement when it comes to graphics. I love the good weapon selection in this game. This game has good weapons. They added new weapons in this one. One more thing I love, piloting a mech. I love piloting the mech. New addition to this game. So what are the things I don't like? First, story was not that good, but because the game has bad story does not mean it's a bad game. There are a lot of other things in the game I like, but the story, I felt like they could have done better. If the story was good, I think this game would have been as good as part 1, but the story fell short. Jump scares were just generic. The jump scares were not as scary as part 1. There was no tension in this game. Part 1 had tension, but this one, there was no tension. I was not feeling that tension I felt in part 1. The game was just there. It was just there. The game was not as scary as part 1. I think they focus more on the action part of this game than the horror part of it. If I'm playing a horror game, I need to be scared shitless, but this game did not scare me as it scared me in part 1. So the characters in this game were not interesting enough for me to care about them. The characters were just generic. The characters were just there. They were just there. What else? Weird bugs. That bug I just talked about. Invisible wall. I'm trying to pass through a door. The game is preventing me from passing through a door. I'm trying to climb stairs. The game is preventing me from climbing stairs. You're just going to have to play the game with these bugs. Maybe I will buy the GOG version and see if there is a difference between the Steam version and the GOG version, because the one I played is the Steam version. So probably maybe the GOG Galaxy version will be better than the Steam version. I don't know. So let's move on. There is a DLC in the game. You play as one of the bad guys in this DLC. You start off piloting a mech and then you eventually go on foot. And I noticed that this DLC was more challenging than the main game. It was harder. And I enjoyed the DLC because of that. Not even because of the story. The story of the DLC was just trash. But I loved the DLC because it was more challenging. And I also noticed that in f.e.a.r Part 1, the DLC of f.e.a.r Part 1 was harder than the base game. Same thing with this one. The DLC of this game was harder than the base game. But the story was average. I was not playing the DLC because of the story. The story was bad. But I enjoyed the DLC because of the action. That was the only reason why I played the DLC. There was one part where I was fighting against about, was it 3 or 4 snipers? They pinned me down somewhere. I enjoyed that part because it was very challenging. When I was playing the main game, I died like once or twice. Then my second gameplay, third gameplay, I was not dying when I was playing the base game. But in this one, okay, they whooped my ass. So I was like, yes, finally, challenge. Finally! So the main reason why I like the DLC, like I said, is because of the action. That's just it. You don't even need to worry about playing the DLC. But there was something that happened at the end of the DLC that carried over to part 3. Maybe when I make my part 3 video, I will talk about it. So that was it for the DLC. So overall, what are my final thoughts? Part 2 did not live up to part 1. This was not a good sequel. But does that mean this game is a bad game? Not necessarily. This game on its own is a good game, but compared to part 1 is better than this game. But this game is still a good game, and I think I am going to still play this game later on in the future. There are other people that have played this game and they absolutely love the game. They don't mind the story. Somehow I don't even mind the story. I like the action. I like the bullet time. So I think this game is a good game. I recommend the game. I will not say I strongly recommend the game, but I recommend the game. Just try the game. Something else I want to say is, when it comes to discussions or reviews like this, because I like a game does not mean the game is objectively good. Because I don't like a game does not mean the game is a bad game. This is just my own experience. So when you play the game, you might absolutely hate the game. Or if you play the game, you might love the game. All these things are more of opinions. So even as I'm talking about the game, I'm just telling you about my own experience and things that I saw in the game and what you should expect when you play the game. So my advice is, play the game for yourself. If you enjoy the game, you will enjoy the game. If you don't like the game, you won't like the game. I like the game and I recommend the game. So it is up to you to play the game or not. If I were to rate this game, I think I might have to stop rating games for my revisiting old games series. But maybe I might still keep the rating system. If I'm going to still rate games, I'm going to stop using the 1 to 10 rating system, and I'm going to start using 0 to 100% rating system. Maybe I'll find the one that works. But if I'm going to rate this game, I think I'm going to give this game a 7.5 out of 10. I think 7.5 out of 10 is a good rating for this game. Maybe a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 is a good score. But that's just my own opinion anyway. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Have you played the game before? Do you like the game? Do you think this game is good? Do you think the game is bad? If you've not played the game before, do you want to play the game? Are you interested in this game? Or do you think this game is bad? Is it trash? You're not interested? You only want to play modern games? You're not interested in playing older games and stuff like that? So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have our own discussion. So that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe for more videos like this, share the video, and I will see you in the next video.